Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm a manifestation coach. In this video, I'm going to answer the questions that I received under the last video that was specifically created for you to ask me manifestation related questions. I have received some very interesting questions that I'm looking forward to answering. Welcome to all of you, new ones, older subscribers. If you haven't been subscribed to my channel yet, I am guessing you will decide during this video if you want to do it. I'm happy to have you here, and let's just jump in, and I'm going to answer the questions one by one. I'm first going to read the question for you and then give you my answer and go to the next question, just like I did on the last few videos that I made, like this one. So, the first one says, how to manifest while having anxious, intrusive thoughts. A few things here. The first thing that I would do would be to understand what exactly I am fearful about. And it's not always as superficial as it seems. Like, for example, I am worrying that my manifestation won't happen. I'm worrying that this person won't ever fall in love with me. I'm worrying that I won't have the necessary money for whatever I am trying to manifest money for. That can be there too, but a lot of times there is a deeper limiting belief. It can be self-concept related that is creating this anxious feeling whenever you're trying to manifest something or whenever you're in a situation where it can be triggered. So try, if possible, to understand the trigger so that you work on that. And otherwise, with this one, I would say work on keeping a mental diet. And a good thing to do in this case and in similar cases where a lot of negative emotions are involved, do the technique, roughly put, for the sake of doing the technique, which means that when those intrusive thoughts come up, you simply recognize that these are my limiting beliefs. These are just limiting beliefs, part of my programming, which I didn't choose. Therefore, since I don't want to manifest more of this, I'm going to shift my focus to an opposing thought to that, which has to be positive in this case. And you specifically start repeating the new thought on purpose. Something that I am a big fan of when you use affirmations is to use, to affirm with focus. And there's another question where this is going to be relevant that I'm going to read in a bit. When you are focused on your affirmation, your mind tends to accept it quicker so that you don't have to suffer too much until that becomes normal in your mind. The fact that you are lovable, the fact that you are whatever you want to be. So with the, to recap, try to understand the trigger if possible. Otherwise, you have it in front of you. You have the problem in front of you. You know what you're dealing with. Create the new story that you want to experience and do it as a technique. Because when you're having anxious, intrusive thoughts like that, they come up and they convince you otherwise. And they're really good at convincing you because you are used to these thoughts and they come with all sorts of 3D evidence and memories, past events, etc. Why the fear is valid. And the fear is very valid, but it isn't telling you what you can have. Just because something happened that made you feel unworthy or not capable of having the life that you want, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you can't start from now and actually manifest the life that you want and yourself the way that you want. So therefore, it can be very useful to simply do the technique, decide that this is the technique that I'm doing. Mental diet. I'm keeping a mental diet. Every time a thought comes up that I don't want more of in my life, I'm going to stop myself and shift my focus to a thought that I want to manifest more of. Do it with focus, repeat a few times, you will feel the shift in your feeling. And this is also an important, probably the most important thing that happens with you when you when you affirm with focus. It shifts your state, and that is what we are after, first of all, when we're manifesting. So that was it for that question. The next question says, Dear Anna, congrats, thank you. And after about 10 cycles of lots of movement and then almost going back to square one with my SP all within a year, I struggle with the naturalness of my desire. The complete naturalness might only come with lots of rehearsal and repetition, but according to Neville, we should choose the path of least action, true, and not become obsessed. So I sometimes do lots and sometimes let go a little. Any tips? As before, my circumstances are very difficult. I don't mention them as they don't matter. In your opinion, what should I do more or less of to see constant results? Okay, first of all, the action that Neville says not to take, and this is something that I have been repeating in several of my videos, you can check them out if you want to, is physical action, because your manifestation happens from your mind. All your experiences are manifestations that come from your mind. So there's nothing in the physical that you can do to either help or ruin the manifestation that comes from your mind, which is so powerful that you, in your human form, in the physical form, you can't do anything to either mess it up or help it. So no physical action. That is mostly what that means. Let me see. The complete naturalness might only come with lots of rehearsal and repetition, but lots of rehearsal and repetition, I actually agree with that, unless you don't have an opposing story. The manifestations that come with very few repetitions and very little mental rehearsal, those are the manifestations where you don't have an opposing story. You don't have a story about it. So you repeat it a few times. That's the only truth that you know. So it manifests very quickly. With the stories, the topics in your life where you have a story, it needs repetition. But as I answered in the previous question, when you focus on it, you usually need less repetition and less mental work. So that's one thing. So I sometimes do lots and sometimes let go a little. Any tips? Okay, so we need to talk about obsessing and letting go, because that has been a forever hot topic in the manifestation community on the internet, and I have been there since the beginning. So and people get this one wrong, and it can sort of make you feel blocked, because obsessing, the feeling of obsessing, usually comes from the state of lack. So when you feel lack and on top of it you have doubts that you can manifest it, you really obsess with it, that you need it to happen, and you start doing lots and lots of affirmations. It becomes a chore. It doesn't have to be like that. On the other hand, I am not the manifestation coach that will tell you to not think of your manifestation. You can't continuously affirm. You need to let go. That also doesn't work. What you need to do is pay attention to the story and change it. Not let the old story come up and convince you that it's the only truth. Start creating your own story. However you do it, a lot of people do it with affirmations. Other people use other senses like the vision, the hearing, the taste, smell, touch, whatever you are good at, whatever comes to you more naturally, I guess. In order to rehearse that enough times so that it becomes natural. But this can't be a forced chore. Like, I have to do this because I want to manifest it. In the beginning stages, it is. And you have to, like, sort of start somewhere. But at some point, with focusing on it, it has to change your state to feeling good. When you imagine your desire, or when you think of your desire as already done, it needs to feel good, because otherwise you're creating something manifesting something that isn't good. It's going to manifest the way that you feel about it. So if you're constantly anxious and obsessed, that's what you're manifesting more of. So if possible, take time out of your day, and this can be just 5 minutes. And it can be 5 minutes once or several times, if possible. You can literally do this in the morning before you get up. Just 5 minutes to focus on something, and as if it's already true, because your mind, your subconscious mind, the creative part of your mind, doesn't know if what you're imagining is actually a physical fact in your 3D or it's something that you're making up. It knows only what you're imagining and what you're telling it. So it's going to calibrate your feeling state with the story that you focus on. So therefore, instead of, maybe you need to shift focus and shift perspective from doing it as a chore to doing it because it feels good. I have suggested so many of my clients to do this 5 minutes of focusing on one thing, one affirmation or one scene. Just take 5 minutes whenever you want during your day, morning, while you're in bed, in the afternoon if you have time, whenever, just to focus on something. When you do it focused, you can only focus on one thing. And that creates the feeling state. And people would come to me and say, I am now doing it just because it feels good. Not because I feel the need to it, but because it feels good. There you have gotten rid of the obsession. Obsession doesn't mean that you can't affirm a lot or repeat your imaginal act a lot. The more you repeat it, the more you rehearse your mind to take that as the new truth. But if it comes constantly from the place of lack, that I need to do it so that I get it, you're literally telling your mind, I don't have it, so now I'm doing something to get it. It's simply a shift of perspective. You are imagining it because you have it, and it's not even your imagination, you're living it in your imagination. You are living the truth of it. It changes, it makes a difference. The letting go part, this needs a whole video. I promise you I'm going to make a whole video on the topic of letting go, because, again, simply because a lot of people get it wrong. You can't let go of a desire. People tell you, you need to let go of the desire. Some people tell you need to let go of the old story. You need to let go of this. You can't continuously think of your desire if you want to manifest it. That's not how it works. You think of your desire as if it's already done so many times until your mind takes it as truth, accepts it as truth. It's like, she keeps repeating this, so it has to be true. When you get to that point, you will naturally feel that you naturally think of it less, because now it's your new truth. Even though it's not there yet in your 3D, you have shifted your state. That is what we are after. That's the first change that needs to happen for something to manifest. When you're in that state, you will naturally not think of your manifestation all day. Even though you're manifesting the love of your life, you're manifesting a huge amount of money that you maybe really, really need, but you will feel calm. It will feel like having it while also knowing that it's not there yet in the 3D, but it's not important because you know it's coming. From that state, you won't be obsessing, you won't be thinking of it all day. You will feel more relaxed, less stressed, no negative stories anymore. But you need to do the work in order to reach that point. You can't just let go. If you happen to be able to let go of your desire before it actually sinks in, it's not going to manifest. So letting go is not something you do. It's something that happens as a result of the work that you have done. I really hope this helps because this is very important. I know this from my own experience when I was still learning manifestation. I was still figuring out how this thing works, what I'm missing. I don't even remember what I was manifesting. So I kept reading, researching, and I continuously came across this thing about you need to let go, otherwise it won't manifest. So I thought, oh, this is it, this is the key, this is what I'm missing, this is what I haven't done yet. So I need to let go. I'm letting go. I could not let it go because the news story hadn't yet been impressed. So I hadn't done enough work, or probably I hadn't even done it correctly. I don't remember really. But I could not think of the desire. It was still there. So if someone had, if I had a coach telling me, oh, you need to let go, first of all, I wouldn't be able to let go because it was just not happening. The topic was popping up in my head. You need to do something with whatever comes up in your mind. And even if I had forced myself, it was forced. For me, it was forced. I was forcing myself to not think about it because I needed to let go for a couple of days. Then I realized this is not it. This can't be it because it's just not... that's not working either. So, and Neville talks about this a lot, and this comes from the Bible also. It's the term the Sabbath, when you do the work and then you relax because as a result of your work. So I really hope this helps with the obsession and letting go. So yeah, this is it for this question. The next question: how to manifest faster and how to overcome difficult circumstances to be able to focus again. When I'm thinking about how to explain the part about circumstances and focusing. When you start focusing on the 3D circumstances, what happens is you are going to manifest focusing on it more. So the more you focus on it, the more you're going to focus on it. All of a sudden you find yourself in the 3D trap. Your full focus is on 3D, and that messes with your mind. You need to, again, take this... I feel like I'm repeating this a lot in this video, but it has to be said. You can take this and do it as simply as a technique in the beginning, because at some point it's going to become a feeling state. You're going to become natural with this, but in the beginning you need to do something with your focus, because if you're constantly in the 3D, you are going to be in the 3D. Notice the 3D, and that's what where your focus is, that is what you're going to get more of. So more focus on the 3D, and what you focus on grows. You need to find a way to simply not focus on the 3D. And what I was going to say with the technical part is tell yourself. Simply have inner conversations with yourself, or out loud if you want to, that the 3D is a manifestation. I manifested it. It's messy. It makes me feel horrible. Yes, all that, yes. What can I do with that information? Absolutely nothing, except recognizing that this is my manifestation from my assumptions. What am I assuming that is manifesting this mess for me? Go back to self. Go back to self, work with your own assumptions, work with your own stories. Start repeating on purpose a new story that you would rather have manifested in the 3D. And while you're doing it, you take it as truth. This is facts. My imagination is the only thing that creates my 3D reality. So therefore, what I'm imagining or thinking to myself in form of affirmations, that is my truth. That's my life now. That is what I know is happening in the 3D, because again, your mind only knows what you're telling it. If you stop looking at the 3D and continuously go inside, that is also a habit that you are going to create. Every time the 3D happens that is not exactly what you desire, you switch it off, you go inside. You go inside and you start imagining or affirming your desired version of that situation. You focus on it, you will, for a couple of minutes really, at a time, every time. And you will feel that it feels better, you feel calmer, you will feel a difference when you focus. As for the question how to manifest faster, the only thing that delays a manifestation is your focus on the opposite, on the lack of it. The times where I have manifested things that I thought were impossible in days, and again, also the times when I had clients with situations like that something needed to happen right away, what I do is, like, you need to go hardcore with this one. Don't let your mind go to the negative. As soon as you notice, first of all, you need to make a conscious decision that as soon as I notice any negative thought, fear, doubt, I am not going to give into it. I'm going to take it as simply as a belief comes up. I cut it off. I focus on the new story with focus. I repeat it until I calm down in that moment, and I repeat it every single time the doubt comes up. If you do this religiously and you don't let the doubt come up, at some point it's going to give up and not come up. And you will notice that you are naturally very relaxed. You naturally have less negative story. And the new story becomes on autopilot. And that's also the stages of manifestation. So, I can't make this any clearer. The only thing that delays a manifestation is the stories that you are holding that say otherwise. There's nothing in the 3D that can delay your manifestation. It's also your focus on the 3D. That is still your focus. It's your imagination. So shut off the 3D, go inside. Cut off the negative thought, switch to the positive. And do this simply as an exercise. This is what I'm going to do until it manifests. And you won't do it for a long time. If you really religiously don't let your mind go to the negative BS. So, next question. My one and only big manifestation I accomplished has two problems. One, it required a lot of effort / force. Two, it wasn't permanent. I manifested a change in someone and it stuck for a year effortlessly before fading. How I did it was rampage affirming only when seeing something I didn't like in the 3D from that person. Revising that incident that I didn't like in the 3D and holding it with brazen imprudence. That is the name of a Neville Goddard lecture, a really good one, amazing one, if anyone wants to read that. and the rest of the time assuming it's done. I feel like I need an easier way because the force of my rampaging makes my arms ache due to the enormous intensity I'm affirming with. I can't just say it's done 10 times per day because I tried it and it didn't seem to work. Possibly the rampaging shocks my body into the state of a state or something. Thank you so much. So this is actually not normal that your body feels weird or aches because of manifestation, because clearly something is off, because the way the mind works is whatever you focus on. If your affirmations are something positive, feeling good state, or feeling good situation, your mind, the first thing it manifests in the physical is that it calibrates your body so that it brings the feeling state of your body to the story that you keep in your mind. So if the story is good, it has to make your body feel good. If the story is bad, it has to make your body feel bad. So again, it all comes from the mind. So if it aches, it probably, from what I'm hearing, like without knowing exactly what stories, what assumptions, again, like I answered in one of the previous questions, if you're doing it from a state of lack, fear, I have to do it, I must do it in order to manifest this, otherwise I'm in trouble or something bad happens or whatever. So your true focus is actually on the negative and the lack of it. So that's one thing. Maybe it would help, no, not maybe, definitely it would help for you to understand and to repeat this to yourself so that it gets in your mind that that your imagination is the only reality and it creates. So even though the 3D may seem like a mess, it is powerless in front of what your mind can do. So it's you and your mind, and that is all you need. When you say it required a lot of effort and force, I would ask a couple of questions around this if this were in a coaching session, because manifestation can't be an effort. It doesn't work with effort. It can't be effort or force, because force and effort is the opposite of living in the end, which is a natural state of being that person which you want to be. And when you understand that your imagination is actually real, you don't have to force it. You simply have to imagine. And I know it's easier said than done, but something that would help here, something very technical but very helpful, very, very helpful, is to actually relax your mind before you go into your imaginal acts or your affirmations. With the rampage, you can do that. You can do that, but I have questions here. I have questions about the effort and force, and this is what is off here, because it can't be effort and force. You can, when you, again, yes, when you do it in the relaxed state, you get rid of the opposing stories, the needing to force. You can't force anything in a meditative, relaxed state. So get yourself in that state. Even though I usually say, like, you don't have to do that in order to manifest. You can affirm while wide awake, while walking, while doing stuff around the house, or even at your job, depending on what you're working with. With cases like this, I would say, since this is important for you, find the time to sit, relax your mind, maybe learn to meditate, which you need to do for a couple of minutes before you start your affirmations, and then affirm it in that state. In that state, your conscious mind, which is doing all the effort and forcing and the negative thinking and all the fears and whatever, when you are manifesting consciously, that's falling asleep. That's too tired to contradict your new story. So therefore, in a relaxed state, it's easier for your subconscious mind to receive the message. So that is one thing you can do. Another is the second problem, that you say it wasn't permanent, that it came back to the old. Several things can be happening here. Again, without knowing the story and your assumptions, it's not so easy for me to give you a very precise answer, but I'm going to give you some options, and you know what to do with this. The first thing is, just because you manifest a desire, you don't stop manifesting. This is something a lot of people go wrong with, especially when they are manifesting an SP. SP is manifested, relationship happened, I'm done. You're never done, because your mind is going to continuously manifest whether you do it on purpose or not. So you might as well do it on purpose. So even in a situation like that, problems happen, things come up, old stories come up, something happens that makes you feel bad. You need to work with it. The more you work with it, the less it happens, but still you need to be aware that you're manifesting, whether you like it or not. You can't stop it. So therefore, be aware and continue your conscious manifestation. That is one thing. Another reason why something can not be permanent is maybe a generic limiting belief, but a limiting belief that you either ignored or maybe aren't aware of. So try to work in those, try to work with that. Like, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Maybe there's usually understanding the way that you feel tells you the story, the belief behind it. So it can be, a lot of times, most of the time, it's self-concept. Other times it's general assumptions about people, family, relationships, jobs, whatever the case. And so therefore, if you have, like, for example, if you're manifesting, let's say, a relationship. Now I don't know, of course, the story here, and I wouldn't even share it if I knew it, but let's take an example. You are manifesting a relationship with a person. The relationship manifests, but you have a general belief that has nothing to do with that person, that says that all relationships fail. All men or women are like that at some point. Or one that comes up here and there is, as soon as the person gets to know me, they will be disappointed. This person or any person. Or I don't feel lovable. I'm just not good enough. I'm not good enough. And any variation of that, the not good, being good enough. At some point it has to manifest. So you manifested the relationship, that's one thing. The general beliefs that you have about yourself that has nothing to do with that person is something completely different, but it's going to manifest with every person, including that person. So this can be the key for you to figure out. And affirming it's done can be a solution, but if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. So if you're affirming it's done and your mind goes, no, it's not done because this person is still like that, you need to go back to the beginning. I am the only manifester of my reality and of my relationship. So if that person is behaving like that with me, I have an assumption that is manifesting that. So I need to work with my assumptions. Therefore, if I focus on this new story, the new assumption, at some point it has to manifest. So you start at first doing it as a technique, and then it becomes natural. I really hope this helped, because it's not very clear for me what kind of situation you're going through, and I have questions. I really have questions with this one. So, in any case, I hope that that was helpful in some way at least, and let's go to the next question. Hi Anna, how to be motivated to put in all the work when you have the fear you'll waste time if it doesn't work? Thanks. Um, the one thing that motivates me to put in the work is my desire. Do I want this? If I want this, I'm going to do anything to get it. But here you're talking about the fear that it doesn't work. What is the fear here? Do you fear that manifestation doesn't work, or do you fear that you can't manifest? Because many people go through this at some point, mostly in the beginning of their manifestation journey. If you fear that you can't manifest, you can learn it. It's the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. It becomes a lifestyle, and you can repeat this to yourself. It helps to convince your mind that of course you can do it. When I was still learning and I was still questioning everything, am I doing this correctly? In the beginning, I didn't even know what it meant to affirm. Like, is this affirmations what I'm doing? How many times do I have to repeat this? At some point, I got enough of myself and I started affirming, I know exactly what I'm doing and I'm doing it correctly. That helps you shift focus from can't do to, of course, I can do, and I'm doing it correctly. If the problem is that you don't believe in manifestation, I would say manifest things that you don't really have resistance to, because that builds confidence. A lot of people manifest free cup of coffee, other things, things that you don't really have an opposing story to that is so big that you need to work with. Small things, fun things. I had a client who really didn't believe she could manifest people, and she was manifesting an SP. So she was dealing with something like this, like, what if this can't be manifested? I said, okay, let's manifest something with someone else. She decided that she was going to manifest something with her mom. 1 week or a couple of weeks passed. For the next session, she came in and she said, you know what happened, Anna? She had manifested her mom, who had been drinking tea all her life. Never ever had she had any coffee at all. That wasn't in their culture. It wasn't anything her mom would ever do. She imagined her mom, or affirmed, I don't remember what she did, but she created the story where her mom was drinking coffee. At some point, her mom calls her on a video and she says, hey, look, I am drinking coffee like you young people. And that helped her, because this was something that her mom had never done, wouldn't do. But again, it wasn't a big deal. She wasn't manifesting the love of her life or anything that was big for her. So when she saw that, like, in those cases, you know that you did it, because what are the odds for someone who doesn't ever do something, and then you start affirming and then she does it? Manifest things like that and you will see that the law works and you can manifest too. It boosts your confidence. And otherwise, again, something that motivates me is my desire. You know, I too get lazy sometimes. I too notice the 3D, but very quickly, I know I have to go back to myself and I tell myself, do you want this? Then do the work. For me, it works. For other people, they need things like this, like proof that the law works, and you are the only person that can prove to yourself that the law works. So manifest things like that while also working on your big desire, whatever you're manifesting here. So next question. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you. My SP and I have a very long history in which he has come and left so many times throughout the years. I know I somehow created this due to my beliefs, but it is very hard to let go of our past. There's not a day that I don't think about him, but there's a little resentment there, so I have taken a break from affirming for him. I know nothing is impossible, but how can I let this go if I do really still care for him and want him to stay and break this cycle? Something to really understand here is that your subconscious mind doesn't care about your feelings, about your hurt, about your pain, about your desire, about anything. It is manifesting what is getting in there. It's that impersonal. So once accepted that, something that I do with clients who are manifesting an SP and are going through similar things where something hurt or they're scared or they feel the lag, they miss the person. Your person is you pushed out. They are the way that you keep them in your mind. So you can also just like remind yourself here and there and as often as you want that if I keep imagining them like this, if I keep imagining them as the person that hurt me, they are going to keep being the person that actually hurt me. What you do is you bring them into your imagination and you have them tell you what you want to hear. Either you revise the past where he hurt you. For some people it's too sensitive, they get the pain comes up and it's hard to deal with this. It's okay, you don't have to. If this is the case, bring them in now and have them tell you what you actually would like to hear, and do it continuously until you start accepting them as the new version that you created in your mind and rehearsed and repeated so much and lived that reality in your mind so much that now you see them the way they are. Every time you remember the hurt, do this. Every time you remember the hurt, do the other techniques that you do. That okay, I manifested it, and why am I focusing on something that doesn't exist? That is my old story. This is also something that you can do. That is my old story. I don't need that anymore. It's not me. It was the old me that manifested that with old him. Now we are in this happy, beautiful, caring, loving relationship. You repeat that, you're going to start manifesting that. So the only way to break the cycle is to, Neville would say, completely let go and forget the past, but I understand that it's not easy to do, so you need to rehearse the future in order to let go of the past. With rehearsing him, imagining him the way that you want him to be now, like let's say he has hurt you. Yes, he has done horrible things. He has hurt you, but you want to be with him. So the version of him that you want to be with, how is he? How does he talk about the things that he did? You start seeing him that way, and you do it repeatedly. At some point, your mind is going to accept that version of him and forget about, well, not forget, but it won't be important anymore what happened in the past, because now you are a new you and he is a new him. So, next question. I seem to be able to manifest SP on a regular, consistent basis. More what I call hot and cold contact. While the time together is always amazing and positive, SP never really says the things that I'm affirming moving towards relationship. It leaves me frustrated, and I am newer to this, and we have had periods of no contact. My question is more improving on getting consistency and having so expressing his feelings. Okay, so what you are doing here is you are the one who is hot and cold. He is behaving the way that you are behaving in your mind. Anyone of you who is watching this, who has an SP who is hot and cold, just know that it's you. You are being hot and cold. You are doing the work for some time, and then you are going back to the old story. Then you do your affirmations, and then you notice the 3D that is not what you want. And you go back and forth. He has to go back and forth. He has no choice. He, she, whoever. Another thing to pay attention here is When you notice that he never says the things that you are manifesting him to say, your manifestation is not done. If it didn't say it today or yesterday or whenever, you persist because it just means that it hasn't been sinking in your subconscious just yet. You keep going. You don't jump to the conclusion that, oh, he didn't say it, so it didn't happen, that didn't manifest. Cold again. No, you need to be, you can't waver. This is the classical wavering. I was affirming, something happened in the 3D, I'm back to square one, then I relax a little, then I go to doing my mental work again, then something happens, then some movement happens, I'm happy, and then something else happens in the 3D that throws me off, so I'm back and forth like that. In your case, you need to work with the 3D in a way that whenever it is not what you want, you discard it. We're not there yet. We're simply just not there yet. That's all there is. So I really hope this helps. This is the classical example of needing to persist and not taking the 3D as seriously as done. It's never done. It's done when you are done. It's done when you say it's done. Otherwise, you persist. And we have a few questions left. The video is going to be a little longer than usual, but it is going to be as long as it needs to be because I'm going to answer all the questions. So the next question is how to manifest someone specific if we are already with someone in a good romantic relationship. How do we remain in the state of wish fulfilled in that case? Wouldn't it be unfair to the person we are living with or with the partner of the specific person if he or she is married? How does the law of assumption deal with morals? Or maybe this is why it is part of known duality. Can a manifesting coach like you manifest a specific person for someone else? Potentially I could, but it's better for you to manifest it because you gain experience when manifesting your SP, and you don't need someone to, you don't depend on someone to manifest something else when you are continuously going to have desires. So when you learn how to do it, you don't depend on anyone. If I had to manifest everything for you, you would be dependent on me. And I don't know if you want that. There is another question that is very similar to this. I am going to read that and answer both questions in one. It says, hello, and I have a similar question to that. How to manifest an SP if they are in a committed relationship, maybe even married and have a child together. How to deal with moral doubts that this is the right thing to do. It is a circumstance that seems so solid that it is almost impossible to ignore. Especially when there is no relationship history between the manifestor and the SP and a no contact situation. I met him a couple of times on a platonic basis, etc., etc. This is all a circumstance. Then we lost touch. I think about contacting him. But I realize that I'm doing it more from the motivation to find closure rather than feeling it to be inspired action. Ooh, inspired action is an interesting one. How would you coach someone in this kind of situation? Okay, so first of all, the very first question, how to manifest someone specific if we are already with someone in a good romantic relationship. Just like you manifest a new job while being in the old job. So whatever is happening in your physical reality is a circumstance. You are manifesting from your mind. So you can be in a relationship and imagine yourself with a different person. That's very possible to do. And since manifestation happens from your mind and absolutely doesn't care what's happening in the circumstances, that is simply what you do. You imagine yourself, you deal with your 3D the way that you do. Of course, you have to, you have conversations with the person, you eat together, you talk, you do in the 3D whatever you do. But when you're not doing that, in your mind, you are with the other person. So the other question says, wouldn't it be unfair to the person we are with or the third party? And that is also the question of the next person who, the next question. You are manifesting any situation, any version of any person regardless. So you are either manifesting yourself being in this relationship or in that relationship. And since everyone else around you is you pushed out, you are either manifesting that person being with you or with that other person. It's not that your SP being with the third party is not your manifestation. You manifested that too. That's a manifestation. So you either manifest that or you manifest them being with you. So the only moral that you would be dealing with is, why are you manifesting it to be bad? If you are focused on, oh, if I manifest them, I'm going to hurt the third party, then that's what you're manifesting. But you could be manifesting your SP to be with you and the third party being happy. That is also your manifestation. The third party is also you pushed out. So that is how you deal with the morals. You simply manifest a happy outcome for everyone involved. And the next person who had a similar question is saying that they have never been in a relationship with the person before and there's a lot of 3D stuff happening. Your mind doesn't care what you have done or haven't done in the past. Whatever you focus on is what is going to manifest. So if you focus on, we've never been in a relationship, I can't manifest this, then your mind will tell you, okay, you've never been in a relationship and you can't have this. If you tell yourself, okay, I've never been in a relationship, but I'm now with this person, it's not like you only manifest things that you have experience with. Absolutely not. You manifest what you focus on as if it's already true, and you keep focusing on it until it becomes natural in your mind. And then it manifests. Your subconscious does not care what you have done, not done, been, not been. It's whatever you focus on now. So don't worry about it. Start right now and manifest your desired outcome with your specific person. And whether you do it for closure or whether you do it for being with them, that's on you. That's your desire. And for inspired action, do not focus on that. This is another topic that I'm going to make a whole video on, but you don't manifest with action, not even inspired action. Action happens if it's an absolute must that you take action in your order for your manifestation to come. Your mind will make you do it without you even realizing what you're doing, so don't focus on that. Your only focus needs to be on your mental imaginal acts, stories, thoughts, affirmations, and those things. So don't worry about inspired action. Someone asks me, what is my favorite technique? Which one have you seen the fastest results with? I know it differs per person. I'm just curious about your favorites. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. My favorite technique has to be imaginal acts in sets. I use all sorts of techniques to manifest different things, but whenever I have something very important, or as per usual, I have several things that I'm manifesting at a time, the most important one for me, I keep it for the night when I do sets, imaginal acts in sets, the very Neville Goddard way, where you pick a scene, you imagine it over and over on a loop till you fall asleep. You repeat it night after night after night. That is the most magical technique that I have ever used, the quickest and the most precise and foolproof and guaranteed. So if you want to try it, this is probably another one I might make a whole video on to explain better how to do it, but it's pure magic. So if you haven't tried that, definitely give it a try. And the last question is how to manifest a job when you hate working. Every time I think of work, I'm repulsed. So it's like manifesting something that I don't really want, but do want. I have a question for you. Why do you want to manifest something that you hate? Okay, there are two ways to go about this. One is that you start creating a story that you love the job, you really enjoy the place that you're working. The people that you're working with are amazing. You are filled with so much positivity at your workplace. Maybe without even going into the full specifics of what kind of job it is, where it is, who are these people. Keep it general and create this beautiful atmosphere at work. Or if you are manifesting a job in order to manifest money, I would suggest to manifest money instead of manifesting a job. That is also an option. You never know how things come to you. So you can simply just manifest money or the lifestyle, even like jump to the next. Don't even manifest money. Start manifesting your lifestyle. How do you want to live? Maybe that doesn't include a job, but it includes a lots of comfort and lots of money, even lots of travels, lots of whatever. What do you actually want? This is the biggest question here. Why manifest something that you hate? Again, either manifest a work environment that you really enjoy, it really feeds your creativity, you feel so good every time you're at work, and you make so much money, so it's very motivating, and people who you're working with are so kind and professional and etc. Create a story like that. Or manifest money without focusing on where it comes from, or manifest the lifestyle that you want. So there are different ways to go about this. Find what is yours. So I am done with this video. I didn't think it was going to be this long. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to make specific videos for a few of these topics because they are very important. A lot of people are dealing with the same problems, the same situations. So some things need specific videos. And if you like this video and my older videos where I explain manifestation and how to apply it, etc., make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss other videos I am going to be posting on the channel, because again, this is not an SP specific or money specific or health specific channel. This is a channel where we talk about how to use our imagination to manifest anything that you like. So it's going to be very practical for you to apply it to your specific manifestations, even though I do create videos on specific topics. So SP, money, health, etc. Those are also going to be included. But in general, we are going to basically learn how to control our imagination to manifest experiences from choice rather than random. And who doesn't want that? Manifestation is absolutely magical, and I consider myself absolutely blessed to have found this knowledge and the ways to apply it, and that is what I am teaching on this channel. I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and see you in the next video.